Hi, this is the Marshall JVM 2 series. We're going to be looking at all the amps available in the JVM range. For what you're going to be hearing at the moment, this is the 50 watt head, but the JVM 2s are available in a series of 50 and 100 watt heads and combos, which we'll be looking at in a little while. We're going to look at the front panel of this amp. I'm going to talk you through the front panel and the various sounds available in the amp, then the special features such as the foot switch in a little while. So if you check out the amp from right to left, what you've got with the JVM 2 is a simplified version of the JVM 4. The JVM 4 is a 4-channel, and the JVM 2 has been simplified to 2 channels. So the 2 channels that you've got is a clean stroke crunch channel and a main overdrive channel. It still has all the programming capabilities of the JVM 4, which we'll look at in a little while as well. So looking at the front panel from right to left, you've got your channel indicator, and then you've got the clean stroke crunch channel with volume, bass, middle, treble and gain. And then just underneath that you've got your overdrive channel, and the layout is exactly the same. It's parallel, so it's volume, bass, middle, treble and gain once again. And you've got the channel indicator for the overdrive channel as well. Moving along to the center of the panel, you've got 2 separate reverb pots, so you can assign a different amount of reverb to the clean crunch channel as you can the overdrive channel. Just below here you've got the button, which is the indicator for the reverb, and when you press that, then you'll see that the reverb is on. And then moving along, you've got resonance and presence. Resonance is more for filling out the bottom end, and presence is more for the top, for fine tuning kind of thing. And then you've got 2 separate master volumes. The master volumes work in exactly the same way. So what you can do is you can preset the second master volume to be louder than the first one, so you can boost any of those sounds for solos, or if you want you could drop the second master volume off altogether, so you have a complete cut of the amp if you need to tune your guitar up or anything like that. So it's still incredibly versatile, but it's just more simplified. And just here you've got the foot switch program button, and then just underneath you've got the effects loop button as well, for if you're running anything through the effects loop through the back of the amp. Okay, so we're going to start looking at some sounds. So what happens is, as with the original JVM 4 series, you've still got 3 modes per channel. So there's still a possible 6 different sounds within the amp, and each mode is indicated by a different color light. So you've got green, orange and red. And so we're going to start with the clean crunch channel. On the green mode of the clean channel, what I've done for everything that you're going to be hearing, the EQs are pretty much on about 2/3, the volume for each channel is just over half, and the gains are on half, and I've got the master volume somewhere down on just over 1/4 as well. So this is the green mode of the clean channel. This is like your straight clean sound. So what happens now is if you press the channel indicator just here, you'll see that we've moved up to the next mode now, which is the orange mode, and now the sound will start to break up more of a crunch thing. Good for blues and that kind of thing, or a sort of crunch rhythm. And if you press the channel indicator once more, then you get to the red mode just here, and now the sound will be like that crunch, but with even more gain now. Pressing the indicator one more time takes you back to the green mode, and you're back where we began. So all those three sounds that you just heard are all from the clean stroke crunch channel, all from one channel. It's probably worth pointing out that if you look on the clean crunch channel's volume control, it says orange and red in brackets, and that's because the volume control for this channel is not active when you're on the green mode. It's only the gain that you use to control the clean sound. It gives it more of a direct signal path, more natural. You don't really need volume and gain. So just for the green mode, it's just the gain that's active. The volume control isn't. So moving on to the overdrive channel. It's the same deal. You've got green, orange and red. It's a little bit heavier sounding, that kind of thing, good for more beefed up rock playing and stuff. So again, I've got the EQ set about 2/3 each, with a bit more in the mids. That's up to about 3/4, the gain on half. And so this is the green mode of the overdrive channel. Taking it up to the orange mode. And finally the red mode, and now this is starting to get more for heavy rock or metal sounds. So they're the main 6 sounds within the JVM2 range, and whichever amp in the range, all the features are identical and they work in the same way. What you didn't hear there was the reverb, so what I'll do is I'll just put the reverb on for you to hear. It's digital reverb built within the amp, and I'll take it up to about 3/4 so you can hear it. So there's lots of it in there. This is just on the clean sound. Actually, firstly without the reverb. And now bringing in the reverb. So that's pretty much it in terms of sounds. What we're going to do now is I'm going to get the foot switch, and I'm going to show you how you can use the foot switch with the JVM2 series. So this is the foot switch that comes with the JVM2 series. You'll notice that the boxes are left blank because the foot switch, as with the original JVM4 series, the foot switch is completely programmable. We're going to look at the 2 different ways of using the foot switch. Firstly, by scrolling through the sounds, much like we just did, but without having to press the indicator on the amp all the time. And then we'll look at how you program the foot switch to customize it for yourself. The way the foot switch comes preset, firstly it's connected, as with the original JVM4 series, is with a regular guitar lead. So you can make it as long or short as you want, and if you have a problem with it, it's easy to change. And then you've got 4 controls as opposed to 6. The original JVM4 had 6, but with this one it's more compact, and you've got 4. So firstly, button number 1 controls your clean stroke crunch channel, and you've got an indicator on the panel on the top there to show you which mode and which channel you're on, so you don't have to keep looking back at the amp all the time. Button number 2 is your overdrive channel. Button number 3 turns your second master volume on and off, and then button number 4 brings your reverb on and off as well. So the way that it works is, much as I was doing earlier, scrolling through on the front panel, you actually just use the foot switch. So you go back to the clean channel, we're on the green mode, and if we want to change to the next channel, then you just press that button again and you're on the orange mode, and then pressing it one more time takes you up to the red mode, and then once more back to the green. And the same thing applies for the overdrive channel: green, orange, up to red, and then back again. And so the lights obviously correspond with what's going on the front panel of the amp as well, so you always know where you are just by looking down on the floor, which when you're playing on stage makes things a lot easier because you don't have to keep looking back all the time. You always know where you are with this. And like I said earlier, 3 and 4 do your second master and reverb. So that's one way of using the foot switch. What we're going to do now is look at how you can program the JVM2 and customize your foot switch for your own use. After you've had the amp a little while, you probably find out of the 6 sounds within the amp, some of them are your favourites, and you want to store them and keep those as your own sounds. And instead of having to scroll through to get them all the time, you can actually store it. So what we do is, let's say we want to set up a good clean sound. We want the green mode of the clean channel, and we want a bit of reverb on there. We could do it from here or the front panel. So I'll put reverb on with the clean channel, and we want to actually hard store that, so we've got that as our clean sound. What we do is, on the front panel, press the foot switch program button in, and then hold down whichever one of the 4 buttons you want to assign it to. So let's for argument's sake say number 1. Hold down number 1, wait for the flash in the top right hand corner of the foot switch. There it goes. And now what we've got there is, if you take out the foot switch program button, we've got that sound absolutely hard stored to number 1, so it won't scroll anymore. That's our clean sound, and that's set there, that's fixed. Much like if we want a good overdrive sound, then we want, let's say, the orange mode of the overdrive channel, again with a bit of reverb, and we want to assign that to number 2. Press in the foot switch program button and hold down number 2. Wait for the flash, and that's in there. That's all done now. So we've got our clean and now our rhythm, and they're absolutely hard stored there. Same thing if we want to set up a good lead sound. We want the red mode of the overdrive channel, and we want the reverb, we want the second master volume to come in, and let's say that we've got something going through the effects loop as well, then you just press in the effects loop button, and we want to set that as our lead sound. Press in the foot switch program button, hold down number 3, wait for the flash, and now we've got 3 sounds as quick as that, customized whichever way you want them. So we've got clean, like a good rhythm, and our lead sound as well. And you can obviously do that up to 4 times with this foot switch. So you're probably thinking, how do you, once you've done that, is that the foot switch done like that forever? But it's not. You can change it back to scrolling if you want, and there's 2 ways of doing that as well. Firstly, you can do the opposite way of what we just did by programming it. So let's say that we want to get the clean channel scrolling back on number 1 as it was a minute ago. All you need to do is press the foot switch program button, hold down whichever number that you want to assign the channel to, let's say, because we're going to do it into number 1, and then you actually press the channel on the amp. So I'm going to hold down number 1 and then press the channel. See the flash on the end there. If we go back to number 1 now, we're back to scrolling on the foot switch, so we've reset that 1 button. Number 2 is still our rhythm, and number 3 is still our lead, but number 1 is back to scrolling. So you can manually put the channels back into the foot switch if you want, or you could have put the clean channel into number 4 if we wanted to. You can assign them to anyone. The easiest way to do it though is if you unplug the jack, hold down number 4, button number 4, plug the cable back in, press number 3, and that's the factory reset. And so now all our sounds are back in there, the back scrolling. You'll probably still notice that all the effects loop and the second master and the reverb are still recalled, because it still remembers where you are on each one. Such as if you were to have if you were scrolling with this and you had the reverb on the green clean mode, and then you went somewhere else, it would disappear, but it's always still recalled. So it kind of has almost like an inbuilt memory. The good thing is, if you unplug the foot switch and then plug it back in, all your settings are still recalled. It still remembers where you were, even if you've stored them into the foot switch. Or if you plug it into any other JVM2 head or combo, then all your settings will still be recalled as well. So it's an incredibly versatile bit of kit. So that's the foot switch. What we're going to do is take a look at the rear panel, and then we're going to have a look at the available options with the JVM2 series. Alright, so taking a look at the rear panel now, we're going to have a look left to right. On the far left here, you've got your speaker outputs for plugging into your cabs. By the way, what you've been hearing just now, we're using a trusty Marshall standard 1960A cab loaded with Celestion G12 75 speakers, output of 300 watts, each speaker is 75 watts. So what you've got here is you've got 3 different sections for the outputs for the speaker cabinets, and they're labelled up into for the impedances. So these 2 here, if you're running 1 4 ohm or 2 8 ohm cabinets, then you plug in here. If moving along to the centre ones here, if you're using 1 8 ohm or 2 16 ohm outputs, then you plug in here. And if you're using just 1 16 ohm cab like we were just now, then you plug just into that one. So it kind of simplifies the way that, because a lot of people get confused and stuff like that, so it kind of simplifies it a bit more. Then moving on, you've got the effects loop just here. You've actually got the effects mix on the back, the control for the effects mix. It's kind of recessed into the back of the amp. You've got your send and return and your effects level, which is a switch that goes in and out. Then moving along, you've got your power amp insert and serial loop, send and return, and your bypass and active switches there. Then you've got your emulator line out, so you can plug straight into the desk for recording and stuff like that, which is great because you don't have to be plugged into a 4x12 cabinet. You can go straight as long as there's something plugged in there to carry the load of the amp. Then next along, you've got your foot switch input, and you'll notice that the foot switch input, the nut on it is white, and the reason behind that is that if you're in dark venues, and you can see much more easy where the foot switch has got to go in, it stands out from the rest of the inputs there. Then you've got the MIDI in and through, because the amp has complete MIDI capabilities, and then at the end you've got your mains input. So that's the rear panel. Now we're going to explain all of the different available amps within the JVM2 range. All the JVM2 amps are powered by EL34 valves and are available in the following. Firstly, the JVM215C, which is a 50 watt 1x12 combo. Then the JVM205C, which is a 50 watt 2x12 combo. Then the JVM210C, which is a 100 watt 2x12 combo. Then the amp that you were hearing, which was the JVM205H, which is the 50 watt head. And then the JVM210H, which is the 100 watt head. For more information on all these amps, contact your local Marshall dealer.